Two alphas meet and it's immediate competition. Dominance displays, status testing, territory marking. Everyone in the room feels the tension. Two betas meet and it's comfortable normalcy. Small talk, social scripts, predictable interaction. Nobody notices. But two sigma males meeting, that's different. The room doesn't notice at first because nothing obvious happens. No posturing, no performance, no competition, just two people who recognize something in each other that most people don't recognize exists. And what follows isn't conflict, isn't friendship, isn't alliance. It's something stranger, something that exists outside normal social categories. It's mutual recognition between two people who've both exited the game everyone else is playing. And that recognition creates dynamics that are invisible to observers, but deeply felt by the two experiencing it. The first thing that happens is immediate identification, not through words, through observation. Sigma males are constantly scanning social environments, reading patterns, identifying who operates from authenticity versus performance. When two sigmas are in the same space, they identify each other within minutes, not because they're performing sigma traits, because they're not performing anything. Everyone else is managing impressions. These two aren't. Everyone else is seeking validation. These two aren't. Everyone else is navigating social hierarchies. These two are operating outside those hierarchies. The recognition is mutual and instant. They see in each other what they see in themselves. Someone who's exited. Someone who's autonomous. Someone who's complete. But here's where it gets interesting. That recognition doesn't create automatic connection. Most people assume similar people naturally bond. Two introverts become friends, two artists connect, two athletes form partnerships. But two sigma males recognizing each other doesn't lead to immediate bonding, because bonding requires need, requires wanting something from the other person. And sigma males have spent years eliminating need from their relational calculus. So recognition creates curiosity, not attachment, interest, not pursuit, respect, not admiration. They're aware of each other, intrigued by each other, but neither is seeking connection. Neither is trying to build relationship. Neither needs what the other offers. This creates strange dynamic, mutual interest with zero pursuit energy. The second thing that happens is strategic distance. Once they've identified each other, they don't move closer. They maintain space, not hostile space, respectful space. Each recognizes that the other values autonomy, values privacy, values not being engaged unless there's reason. So they orbit at distance, acknowledge each other's presence without intruding on it. This looks like indifference to observers, like they don't like each other, but it's actually the opposite. It's deep respect, respecting someone's boundaries without being told what those boundaries are, respecting their autonomy without them having to defend it, respecting their need for space without them having to request it. This respectful distance is how sigma males show regard, not through pursuit, through restraint. Let me show you what happens if they do interact. The conversation is different from normal social interaction. No small talk, no status negotiation, no performative friendliness. They skip directly to substance, ask actual questions, give honest answers, discuss ideas rather than people, explore concepts rather than gossip. The conversation has weight, has depth, has purpose, and it's efficient. Neither is trying to prolong interaction. Neither is filling time. They exchange what's worth exchanging and conclude. No lingering, no forced continuation, no social obligation to extend beyond natural endpoint. This efficiency is refreshing to both. They're accustomed to people trying to extend interactions, trying to deepen connections, trying to create more than what naturally exists. With each other, there's no trying, just authentic exchange that lasts exactly as long as it should. The third thing that happens is mutual non-interference. Sigma males are protective of their autonomy. When two are aware of each other, they're careful not to infringe on each other's space, not to offer unsolicited advice, not to impose their perspective, not to try to influence or change. This creates relationship of parallel existence. They're both in the same environment, both aware of each other, but neither is trying to affect the other's trajectory. This non-interference is rare. Most relationships involve mutual influence. Friends try to shape each other, partners try to improve each other, colleagues try to leverage each other, but Sigma males don't do this. They recognize autonomy in each other and protect it, not because they don't care, because they care enough to respect boundaries most people don't even recognize exist. Here's where the dynamic becomes complex. If circumstances force collaboration, if projects require cooperation, if situations demand interaction beyond casual recognition, then something unique emerges: partnership without dependency, collaboration without compromise, teamwork without hierarchy. Each brings full capability. Neither is trying to dominate, neither is trying to defer. They simply divide tasks based on competence and preference. Communicate only what's necessary. Trust each other to execute without oversight. This sounds ideal, and it is, but it's also unstable. Because if circumstances change, if collaboration is no longer required, they separate immediately. No lingering attachment, no maintained connection for its own sake. They were together because circumstances aligned. Circumstances no longer align. They separate, clean, complete. No drama, no betrayal, just natural conclusion to temporary alignment. Let me take you into the potential friction points. Despite similarity, despite mutual recognition, Sigma males can clash, not over ego, not over status, but over values. If their core principles conflict, if their operating philosophies oppose, if their definitions of integrity diverge, tension emerges. And when two Sigma males clash, it's not like alpha conflict, no posturing, no dominance displays, no trying to win. It's mutual withdrawal, cold, permanent, immediate. They recognize incompatibility and exit each other's orbits. No attempts to change each other's minds, no arguments about who's right, just recognition that fundamental misalignment exists. And misalignment means no reason for continued interaction. They separate quietly, and the separation is absolute, not hostile, just complete. The fourth thing that happens is competition that doesn't look like competition. If they're in the same field, pursuing similar goals, building in the same space, there's competitive element, but it manifests differently than normal competition. They're not trying to beat each other. They're using each other as benchmarks, as standards, as evidence of what's possible. His achievement doesn't threaten other Sigma. It raises the bar, makes him push himself harder, not to beat the other, to meet his own elevated standards. This creates strange dynamic where they're competing, but not against each other. They're competing against their own previous performance, inspired by the other's capability. This is healthy competition, competition that elevates both, competition without resentment, competition without need to diminish the other to elevate yourself. Here's what happens if one experiences crisis. If one Sigma male faces catastrophic loss, devastating betrayal, existential crisis, does the other intervene? Not automatically. Sigma males don't rescue unless asked. Don't impose help. Don't assume need. But if asked directly, if request for support is explicit, response is total, not emotional support through words. Practical support through action, resources shared, assistance given, space held, but no emotional processing imposed, no attempts to make the crisis mean something, no trying to extract lessons, just showing up, doing what's needed, then stepping back. This support is powerful because it's rare, because it respects autonomy even in crisis, because it doesn't create debt or obligation. Help is given freely, with expectation of nothing, not even gratitude, just recognition that capable person needed assistance. Assistance was provided. Done. The fifth thing that happens is intellectual respect. Sigma males are often highly developed intellectually. When two meet, there's recognition of intellectual peer, someone who thinks at similar level, who can engage complex ideas, who doesn't need concepts simplified. This creates rare opportunity, intellectual exchange without performance, without trying to impress, without competing to seem smarter. They can explore ideas together, challenge each other's thinking, push each other toward clarity. This intellectual partnership is valued even if broader relationship doesn't develop. They might interact rarely, but when they do, the exchange has quality, has substance, has value. This is enough for both. They don't need constant interaction. They need quality when interaction occurs. and quality with another sigma is consistent. Let me show you what happens with women. If both sigma males are interested in same woman, what occurs? Not what you'd expect. No competition, no trying to outdo each other. Each recognizes the other's interest. Each makes his own approach. Lets her choose. Winner isn't triumphant. Loser isn't bitter. They recognize she made choice based on compatibility, not victory or defeat, just different compatibility. The one she didn't choose moves on immediately. No lingering, no resentment toward her or toward other sigma, just acceptance that alignment existed with one but not the other. This mature handling of romantic competition is rare, but between sigma males, it's natural, because neither defines worth by being chosen. Neither needs validation through conquest. They can lose without being diminished. Here's what observers misunderstand about sigma males interacting. It looks cold, looks transactional, looks like they don't actually like each other, but that interpretation misses what's actually happening. They're not performing warmth, they're being authentic. Authentic for them is measured, bounded, respectful of autonomy. The warmth exists, but it's expressed through actions, not words, through respect, not affection displays, through non-interference, not constant engagement. By normal social standards, they're distant. By their standards, they're appropriately connected, not too close to threaten autonomy, not too distant to prevent collaboration when beneficial, just right amount of connection for people who don't need connection but can appreciate it when it serves purpose. The final thing that happens is the potential for deep alliance. If two sigma males find genuine value alignment, if they discover complementary capabilities, if they recognize that collaboration amplifies both without requiring either to compromise autonomy, something rare can form. Not friendship in conventional sense, alliance, strategic partnership, mutual support agreement. They're not emotional supports for each other. They're tactical resources, professional allies, philosophical peers. This alliance is powerful because it's voluntary, maintained only as long as it serves both, can be dissolved immediately if circumstances change, has no emotional obligation attached, just recognition that two capable people working in alignment are more effective than either working alone. And this pragmatic alliance, free of need and obligation, is more stable than most emotional bonds, because it's based on value rather than feeling, and value, when genuine, doesn't fluctuate. So what happens when two sigma minds collide? Not collision, actually, not conflict, not immediate bonding either. What happens is recognition, mutual identification of someone else who's exited normal social games, followed by respectful distance, strategic non-interference, authentic interaction when interaction occurs, potential collaboration if circumstances align, immediate separation if circumstances change, competition that elevates rather than diminishes, support when explicitly requested, intellectual respect, mature handling of conflicts, and potentially rare alliance based on complementary value. The collision isn't dramatic, isn't visible, isn't performed for audience. It happens quietly, internally. Two people recognizing peers in a world where peers are rare. Two autonomous individuals choosing temporary or sustained alignment without sacrificing autonomy. Two complete people appreciating completeness in each other without need to merge completeness into codependence. What happens is two people who don't need anyone meeting someone they don't need, but might choose to align with, and that choice, free of need, free of performance, free of obligation, is the strongest foundation relationship can have. Not warm by normal standards, not close by conventional metrics, but real in ways most relationships never achieve, because it's chosen from abundance rather than need, maintained through value rather than obligation, dissolved without drama when no longer serving both. This is what happens when two sigma minds collide. Not collision, recognition, not friendship, alliance, not need, choice, and choice, uncontaminated by need, is the only authentic connection possible between people who've learned to be complete alone.